Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to you. You are tuned into Salam Media. It is the weekend edition of the Iftar Drive. My name is Syed Jadwat. I'll be keeping you company this afternoon all the way until around 10 past 6 or so, which is exactly when Iftar sets in Johannesburg. It is, of course, Sunday, the 31st of March 2024, corresponding with Ramadan 20th, 1445. A quick look at your iftar times in the major cities. This afternoon, iftar in Durban, 5:58 p.m., in Johannesburg, 6:11 p.m., and in Cape Town, 6:46 p.m. It is, of course, a long weekend, which means on the news front, things are a bit dry. But of course, we will keep you updated as there are developments that take place during the course of the show. I'm just looking here on the screen, a deadly fire in Cape Town. In fact, 200 people left homeless after two fires in Langa. Gift of the Givers will hopefully be assisting there. And so that's one of the major stories coming in the headlines this afternoon. And then, of course, if you are in Johannesburg, several areas in Randburg have been left without water once again. And that as a result of low capacity in the Honeydew Reservoir. So residents in that side of the city are cautioned to brace for water interruptions. Of course, coming up on the show this afternoon, we'll be speaking to Attiyah Ghanchi, chairperson of the Balloon Foundation. She has been on the airwaves of Salam Media in the past, and she'll join us once again this afternoon in a few moments to talk to us about the various projects that uh, they have undertaken during the month of Ramadan. Then, of course, we have our weekly segment with Khalid Wada from Social Intifada, where we'll be speaking to him about the latest developments in Palestine. Of course, this week was the week of the ceasefire resolution, but the killing has not stopped nonetheless. And then, of course, we have Ruhana Ibrahim coming on later on during the show for the Iftar table. That's, of course, the segment where she shares with us various recipes and trending features in that space. Then, of course, a sort of break, following which we will have a lecture by Malana Sulaiman Bamji coming to you out of Pietermaritzburg. And then we'll wrap up as we get closer to iftar time in Johannesburg. That being said, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll jump right into it.
Fulfill your zakat conveniently with Ashraful Aid. This Ramadan, let's make your zakat count. Ashraful Aid's zakat distribution is carefully overseen by external boards which ensures transparency and trust. Make a difference to those who really need it. Join us today to spread hope and compassion to those who need it most. Visit our website at www.ashrafulaid.org.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
From samosas and half moons to cook sisters and roti, everything between iftar and seri makes sunfoil cooking oil an essential part of your Ramadan. Approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a healthy diet, this blessed month, give your family the best with sunfoil, because tradition just tastes better.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists, with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
World-class financial services only at Sapphire Global, your financial partner. If you are looking for Islamic, Sharia, and ethical financial products, look no further. Sapphire Global offers a wide range of financial service offerings, from short-term to life and investments. A full-service center with all financial requirements under one brand. Our highly skilled and experienced consultants are ready to help protect your financial future. Contact us on 041 001 0184 or visit our website on www.sapphireglobalfs.com. Sapphire Global is an authorized financial services provider.
Food with love. Zakat makes it possible to establish the things that matter. It sets the foundation right for the family around the dinner table, the mothers who carry the heavy load, the children who want to play. Zakat is not just money. It is the reason why so many across the world are smiling before they sleep. Your zakat helps us continue to serve with love, with hope, because with you, we can. Give your zakat to Penny Appeal South Africa today. www.pennyappeal.org.za. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
19 minutes past 4 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. It is the weekend edition of the Iftar Drive. Now, joining me virtually is Attiyah Ghanchi of the Balloon Foundation. She joins us now to talk to us about some of the projects that they have been undertaking, particularly the projects that they've been working on during the month of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum, Attiyah. Welcome back to Salam Media.
Alaikum. It's good to be back after some time.
How have you been? It's the last 10 days of Ramadan. How has Ramadan treated you so far?
It's been all good. I think it's really good to be back on your show. I think the last time I was here, we were still students, and now we all in our careers for yet another Ramadan of the Balloon Foundation.
Absolutely, and I'm sure much has happened at the Balloon Foundation since we last spoke. And of course, so let's jump right into it. I mean, a good starting point is if you could maybe tell us a bit about the Balloon Foundation and its mission. I know you've spoken to us about that before, but perhaps a reminder might be in order, especially the importance of your work during the month of Ramadan. It is the month of giving, after all.
Yes, so we were a group of students who wanted to make a difference, and I think we've still kept our mission of finding a way for people to use their skills and talents to give back to communities in need, both locally and internationally. And I think as we've grown now, we're trying to not just use people's skills and talents to give back, but to also grow the skills or talents of those we give to, so that they can continue being independent and finding a more sustainable way to give our charity out. Of course, Ramadan, as it goes with all organizations, aim to use the time for people to give back, and not just monetary. Also, I think it's a time for people to reflect and really think of where do their skills lie, what have they been blessed with, so they can find ways to give back in those ways as well. And even if they can commit to giving back their skills after Ramadan, that would be great and what we're looking for. So we really do try to use Ramadan as a time to capitalize and find ways to grow our organization.
Mm. And I know a big part of your work at the Balloon Foundation revolves around the Malika Kids Orphanage, right? So how has that come along so far?
That's been going well. I think we really started to form relationships with the kids now where they're a lot more familiar with us. We can sort of identify their needs. I think just 2 weeks ago, there was a boy who came to us and said, "Look, I'm starting matric. I now know that you're here to offer support. Can you help me put together a CV? Can you help me find a job so that I can have a plan in place?" Whereas when we just started, the kids were sort of still looking for a bit more direction. Of course, we do still have a long way to go, but it's been really good trying to just build a connection with one home so that they know they can come to us. And like, alhamdulillah, since then, now we're able to give them groceries every month, whereas when we started, it was just a one-off thing. So also like school uniform, stationery, those sort of things are given to them on an annual basis. And it's really nice knowing that they know they can come to us for those sort of means of support. And if they have any like emotional traumas, that sort of thing, they can come to us so that we can refer them to the relevant organizations. So I think over the years, we've been able to build a bit of a structure, which has helped us to sort of have a more one-on-one relationship with the home.
I mean, can you maybe elaborate on that? Tell us what this relationship is like with the orphanage.
Of course. So we identified that there's a lot of kids. There's like over 120 kids, and every time they can be different kids, but there tend to be a few that are relatively consistent at this home. So what we've done is we've split ourselves up into little groups within our team, and we have two gentlemen who sort of manage the older kids, and they have a mentorship program that they have running where they take the kids out at least once a quarter, and it could seem like something just fun like bowling or a meal, but it's during that time that the kids can really connect and feel like they have an older brother sort of buddy system where they can ask questions. It's a safe environment. And with regards to the younger kids, we have a handful of OTs that have gotten involved in every quarter as well. They take the kids out for like a fun day where they try to enrich their skills, or while it might just seem like fun for them, it's actually them learning how to play because they're at this home all day where they often just don't have the opportunity to be kids again. And that plays such an important role in a child's development. And then, of course, we have people who are ensuring that every month they get their essential needs because they do need food to, well, be happy, to survive. They need access to water, those sort of things. So we do have a few members who sort of focus on that. And at the same time, we're trying to get more youth involved so that this can continue on because we can identify that eventually we might not be able to do it, but we want it to continue on. So we have certain younger members who are just dedicated to continuing growing the organization. So I think in those ways, hopefully, we've inshallah helped them in some way.
And of course, a lot of your work then is driven by volunteers like yourself. And I think it's amazing that you mentioned this is a youth driven organization. So perhaps you could tell us a bit more about the people that actually make the Balloon Foundation what it is.
I think one of the things that really makes the Balloon Foundation what it is that we understand that we need to be flexible. As the youth, people are busy, especially as you grow older, you realize there are more commitments. But it's about allowing for that flexibility so that people feel like it's a place that they can come to when they are able to. But at the same time, as it still stands, I mean, we are all young and we do want to try out our skills, we do want to try out our talents, and often there just isn't the place to do that in. So we've continued to be an organization where we'll just put a message, like we have a big WhatsApp group. Actually, we have two now, I think. And when we have an event, we're like, look, if you are available, please join the smaller group, come on the day. And then obviously, for events that do need more consistency, we do sort of have our core team, and they are incredible. Like, alhamdulillah, they know what to do. They know how to keep the boat rocking, I think. And it's really helped over the years for them to know what to do and just carry on with it.
Excellent. And I think we will talk about the projects that you've embarked upon in a few moments. But just quickly to take a step back, I think it was about a week back or so, when I spoke to Dr. Shahida Umar from the Teddy Bear Foundation on this very show. And the topic then was actually around kidnapping in South Africa. But something that she raised, which she felt was very important, and she in fact asked me a few moments before we went on air if we could raise this in particular, was children's rights in post-apartheid South Africa. And I was just wondering if perhaps you might be able to give us some perspective on this, knowing that you have been working with children in orphanages. And the question then is, do you feel as though children in South Africa have been protected enough over the last 30 years or so?
I think we definitely still have a long way to come. I mean, we're working in Hillbrow, and it's actually quite interesting because I was abroad for the last year, and I was in London for the last year, and people think that Hillbrow is this amazing area because they still remember it from the apartheid era. And it's so sad because we know what the reality of it is. And I mean, just the other day, we took the kids out for iftar, and it was like children aged 12 years and older. And there was this little girl who couldn't write her name. And for me, that was so shocking because right to education is a basic right. But so many of these kids, I mean, they might be schools, but getting access to schools is something. Having someone to actually give them the support in these overcrowded schools is another whole topic of its own. And I mean, to be able to read to write your name is just the basic, I mean, the basic foundation you would need for any development afterwards. So I think in terms of education, we definitely still have a long way to go. And there will be cases that will come up where kids will mention, I mean, having faced really traumatic experiences and those sort of things. And we have a good relationship with like Islamic Careline and those organizations because we do know where our line needs to be drawn and that we're not equipped to do certain things. And we'll bring in their play therapists and they'll take the kids out. But of course, we can only help them if we know about it. And often these kids just don't have someone to tell because we're not there all the time. And if there's 100 kids in a home, there's only so much that, I mean, the man who runs it is incredible, but there is only so much that one person can do. So I definitely think we have a long way to come. But ironically, I don't know, I feel like people, when we like, please come to Hillbrow, we want to do an initiative there, naturally there's a peer around that. But to date, like we've never experienced any crime when we've been there. I think like the core community know that we're there to help. And I honestly do feel safer there sometimes than when you're out in other areas. So I think the community themselves have rich talent. They have so much to offer, but obviously infrastructures aren't in place. The building that the kids are in isn't always conducive for living situations. It is in Hillbrow. It's really, really in poor condition. And there is still a long way to go.
I think when we think about charity, we think it's just about donating X amount of money or X amount of parcels, and that's it, you
Mm.
know. But I think with you working on the front lines here, interacting with these children on a regular basis, I think that does shed light onto the other aspects of care that they do require. But just quickly before we wrap up, then to discuss some of the projects that you've embarked upon. I think one that particularly caught my attention was it was concerning Eid and clothing, where you actually take the kids out to go shopping to purchase stuff for Eid. That's an exciting initiative. From what it sounds like, it sounds different. Not
Yes.
not something that we've really heard of before.
I think what's one of my favorite projects that we do every year. Like I will not miss that project as much as I can avoid to. But what I think stands out in our projects, and I will speak about that one, is that we really do try to emphasize on quality. And I mean, South Africa, we know it, there's a lot of poverty, and I have so much of respect for organizations who are going out and feeding hundreds and thousands of people because they are hungry people. Because we are a small organization and we have committed to this home, we really try to make sure that our projects are personalized. So what we do is the children who have fasted, as a reward for them, we take them with like a volunteer. They each get a volunteer and they go in our cars. We take them to Piccadilly and we tell them, this is your budget. I think this year our budget is roughly 700 Rand. If we get extra, we increase the budget. Each of you have this budget. It's up to you. You can choose whatever clothing you want. So they have the dignity of choice because we all know in our homes when Ramadan comes, our kids are excited to choose their own clothing and we would like to give them that same. And it's amazing because they will take so much of attention in choosing their items. It's not like they'll take whatever, they really enjoy. They'll search the entire store from top to bottom. They'll take their time. They'll work out carefully what can they get value for money in. And then they scan their items themselves. We just pay for it and then they get to go back to the home afterwards. And then obviously that in its own form, I think is a way of dawah as well, because it inspires the kids to try fast, to try do those sort of things. And then for the kids who are remaining at the home, we do still get them, we do still get them clothing that we would take to them, that's new clothing. because we really do want them to feel like the Eid spirit. And I think this was inspired because when we had just started, we visited them on Eid Day and they didn't know it was Eid Day. They just thought it was another ordinary day because for them, there's nothing that differentiates Eid from every other day. And that's why we really call it our Eid Joy project. And on Eid Day as well, we get them a meal of their choice. We let them choose whichever restaurant they want, and we'll purchase meals and have it delivered to the home. We'll encourage people to drop off any extra like sweet treats that they might have. And we really do try to make it a special day so they can just acknowledge that today is Eid Day and it feels different from every other day.
Yeah, I think that personalized aspect really puts a unique touch to the work that you're doing. When we think of organizations, we think of these organizations that are operating in multiple areas, doing multiple projects. And of course, that is quite amazing that on one hand, they're busy in Afghanistan, on the other hand, they might be busy in Bangladesh or in Gaza or wherever wherever that may be. But then this adds a personalized touch to what you're doing. And I'm sure it does touch the hearts of these kids that you're working with. Just quickly, Attiyah, some of the biggest rewards you might have felt or experienced, some of the hurdles in the course of your work here at the Balloon Foundation?
I think some of the biggest strengths is we had our annual meeting this year and we do accept the card for some of people that we know we've assessed that are eligible. And our individuals who manages the card said that there was this man and he would say that he wanted to make a living for himself. So every week he would have to hire a motorbike and then he would do like Uber Eats and Checkers 60 and those sort of things. And we were like, okay, well, we have the card money. So would you like to use the money? Obviously, we can't tell you what to do, but we have the option of purchasing you a motorbike with the money. And he agreed to it and we bought him a motorbike. And the other day, my friend said that he had ended up delivering his own meal to him. And he says he's now actually leading the Tarawih at Bedford View and he's really made something for himself. So it's those changes, those stories of change where people are now independent that for me really touch our hearts. And I think together we've worked well as a team. We have good structures in place where we all know where our skills lie so we can give back. So that's definitely been a strength, but it has been a hard time trying to find a structure that works with us all growing in our own personal lives at the same time. And that can be challenging at times. But I think our biggest motivation is whatever we do, just do it for the sake of Allah and it will work out. Like to date, last year, we just didn't have time to do any fundraisers. And alhamdulillah, there's been not one event that we had last year where we ran short of funds. So I think that just shows that it all comes from Allah and you just have to have hope and belief in Him that all come true. But yes.
Yeah. All right, Attiyah, it's been amazing speaking to you this afternoon. Just quickly then, before I let you go, how can the listeners get in touch with you if they'd like to become involved?
You can send us a DM on Instagram. We're at theballoonfoundation.com or WhatsApp me on 081 428 9568 and you can donate your money because that is important, or you can donate your time and we'll find a place for it. This Ramadan, we have a few projects. We have our Water for Gaza projects. We have our Eid shopping experiences. We have iftars happening. So you can contact us and let us know how you would like to get involved and we'll find a way for you to make it personal.
Excellent. Shukran so much for your time. You stay safe and go well. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
That was Attiyah Ghanchi speaking to us from the Balloon Foundation about their various projects that they've been involved in, particularly the Eid Joy project, which I found was quite unique and worth sharing. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the show. Please do stay tuned.